Hey there, and welcome. Today we're going to talk about something that's super powerful for your website's visibility, the XML sitemap. We're going to break down what it is, why you absolutely need one, and then walk through exactly how to manage it inside HighLevel.
So, we've all been there, right? You build this amazing new service page, you pour your heart into a blog post, you hit publish, and then crickets. You go search for it on Google, and it's just nowhere. It's so frustrating. But what if I told you there's a direct way to basically tap Google on the shoulder and say, hey, look over here, I've got something new and really important for you to see? Well, that's exactly what an XML sitemap is. The best way to think of it is as a roadmap that you literally hand deliver to the search engines. It's not just some random list of links, it's a super clear, organized guide that says, hey, Google, these are the pages on my site that really matter, and I want you to crawl and index them. It's your first step in really taking control of that conversation with Google.
Okay, so we know what a sitemap is, but let's get into the why. Why is this thing so critical for your SEO? Because trust me, this isn't just some technical box you check off a list. It has a real strategic impact on how well your site actually performs.
A sitemap helps Google in three major ways. First, it just dramatically improves how fast new content gets discovered. We're talking slashing the time it takes for your pages to get noticed. Second, it makes Google's job way more efficient by pointing it directly to your most valuable pages. And finally, it makes sure all your important pages are seen, even the brand new ones that don't have a ton of links pointing to them yet. And this right here is like the #1 rule of SEO. It doesn't matter how incredible your content is, or if your keywords are perfect, or if your page loads in a nanosecond. If Google doesn't know your page exists, it has a 0, and I mean 0% chance of ever ranking. A sitemap is your best tool to clear that very first, absolutely critical hurdle. So when is this thing the most helpful? Well, if you're launching a brand new site, a sitemap helps you hit the ground running by speeding up that initial indexing. If you're updating important content, it signals to Google, hey, something changed here, come take another look. And if your site is just getting bigger and bigger, it guarantees that all those new service or location pages get discovered every single time.
All right, enough theory. Let's get our hands dirty and actually do this. We're going to jump into the how-to and see exactly how to build this thing inside HighLevel, starting with just generating the sitemap itself.
You know, HighLevel makes this whole process incredibly easy. You just navigate to your domain settings, a few clicks here and there. But listen, the most crucial step here is number 4, carefully selecting only the pages you want Google to find. Don't just select everything. Once you've made your picks and you click proceed, boom, you've got your sitemap URL ready to go for the next phase.
And this is a really important best practice. Be super intentional with your sitemap. Only include the pages you actually want people to find in a search. That means you got to exclude any draft pages, internal templates, or even those thank you pages that don't need to show up in search results. A clean, focused sitemap sends a much, much stronger signal to Google.
So you've built the roadmap. Awesome. Now it's time to actually hand it to the driver. The next big step is taking that URL you just copied and submitting it to Google's Search Console. This is how you officially get the conversation started. And the submission part is just 3 dead simple steps. You head over to Google Search Console, you find the sitemap section, paste in your URL, and you hit submit. That's literally it. You've now officially put all your important pages right into Google's discovery queue.
But your website isn't static, right? Of course not. You're always adding new services, new locations, new blog posts. So what happens then? Well, you can't just set it and forget it. Every time you add important new content, you need to update your sitemap. Now, this is a really key process to get right. When you add new pages, first you go generate that new updated sitemap back in HighLevel. Then, when you're in Google Search Console, don't just add the new one. You have to first remove the old sitemap, and then submit the new one. This remove and replace method is the absolute correct way to do it and make sure it's a clean update. So why is this specific method so important? Well, because it forces Google to completely reprocess your site structure from a totally clean slate. This makes sure there's no confusion and that your brand new pages get recognized and crawled right away, instead of Google trying to guess what's different from some old file. Okay, so we've covered the what, the why, and the how. Let's just zoom out for a second and see where sitemaps fit into your bigger SEO strategy, because they don't work in a vacuum. And this is really essential to understand. A sitemap is a super powerful supporting tool, but it's not a magic bullet. It doesn't replace the need for good content, a fast website, or quality backlinks. Its main job is to add clarity, speed, and consistency to Google's discovery process, which just reinforces all your other hard work. You know, a sitemap works best when it's part of a team. It partners up with things like a strong internal linking strategy, a clean site structure, and even doing manual URL inspection requests in Search Console. When all these things work together, you're telling Google a really clear and compelling story about your site. So, if you remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this: sitemaps give you control. Instead of just sitting back and hoping that Google eventually finds your most important content, you are proactively guiding it. You're leaving nothing to chance. You're taking an intentional step to make sure your work actually gets seen.
At the end of the day, you're not just organizing a bunch of URLs, you are literally setting the direction for your site's visibility. You have the map. The only question left is, where are you going to guide Google next?